Hi, lovelies. You guys, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Sarah Martucci. I'm a psychic medium, certified crystal healer, paranormal investigator. Listen, guys, I tell it straight from my fupa. Exactly like it is. Let your nips lead the way. If you've never been here before, this is the free weekly reading. This is where I pull 3 piles of cards. You choose any and all that you are drawn towards. I will not tell you to just pick one pile. You're allowed to have them all. But first, we start with a little something I like to call astrofuckery. So we just talk shit about the stars. So let's look and see what the stupid fucking planets are doing this week. Let's see if we can tune into this energy and use it in the best way possible for ourselves. Now, I usually only kind of focus on like 2 aspects here because I feel like the crowd I'm working with, you guys just kind of want like the nitty gritty. You guys want the basics. And so hopefully I'm bringing you guys what the fuck you need here. And this is from my own personal interpretation. So, if you're into that, let's fucking get into it. So you guys, first of all, how's everybody feeling after the eclipse season? You may not like to hear this, but we're still like, it's technically over, but like this eclipse is going to be like this week. It's still going to be strong. I think probably until like right before Thanksgiving, it's still going to be kind of strong. And we're still going to be seeing themes of like what's been going on since like October and, you know, the eclipse season, probably by April and May again. All right. So don't be surprised when these themes, like stuff that's going on here, comes back up at those times. Hold on to your titties for that one. You know, so at least now, like if you're ready for an ending, you don't want that in April and May, being forewarned is forearmed, right? So take that information and end things that you fucking need to, or close fucking chapters, tie loose ends, make sure that shit is fucking finished for you. Now, what I find interesting this week is that we've got both Venus and Mercury moving into the sign of Sagittarius. And guys, for the past couple weeks, it's been in the sign of Scorpio. It's been intense. It's been deep. Venus is like, oh, this is like, this is like obsession. This is like, oh my God, lifetimes together kind of stuff with like Venus and Scorpio. They need depth and then they need intensity in their love relationships and in their connections. There's also like a lot of research here. And so like finding the answers that we need, not being afraid to dig deep and go into the wells or the spaces that we don't normally go into. And so our love nature is about to kind of move into Sagittarius here, which is like a fuck ton more light, way more like happy, and like we just want to have a good time. Sagittarius is notoriously hard to pin down. I think for Sagittarius, they just want to have a good time. They want to see what life is about. They want to sample a little bit of everything, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. So what is what you're looking for? Do you know what I'm saying? But with Venus moving into Sagittarius here, like this is going to make the atmosphere, I think, a lot happier, a lot more social. People are going to want to get out and travel. Sagittarius rules that like traveling, like long distance travel. It's also around like education and stuff. And so don't be surprised if people are like pontificating more, especially whenever Sagittarius moves, or Mercury moves into Sagittarius. Just this week is going to be very interesting, like this transitional time that we're in. Not only because of the eclipses we just went through, everything that we're still kind of like digesting. Do you know what I mean? And especially with Scorpio, they also represent not only the sexual organs, but the elimination organs too. So not only everything that we're digesting, but everything that like we're letting go. This week just kind of brings like a happier, more chill vibe for the most part. Now, Venus moves into Sagittarius, I think that's on the 16th, and then Mercury moves into the sign of Sagittarius, I believe, on the 17th. Don't be surprised if all your friends or people are starting to talk more. People are starting to like get out and like meet with each other. Everybody, I think, is getting cabin fever, especially again after the eclipse, and everybody was like, bunker the fuck down. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like this week is going to be, and don't be surprised if already you haven't been getting more text messages, more talking. People are wanting to like just have more fun and like be more chill and like enjoy life a little bit more. Life is supposed to be enjoyed, y'all. But I want to say too, it's not like there's anything wrong with the previous signs that we were in. There's nothing wrong with the next sign that we're going into. Every season, every sign change has a meaning and a depth to it. Even if it's traditionally light or it's traditionally like jovial or happy. Do you know what I mean? So I think that there's something to be said for every season, and allowing all parts of ourself, both in the way that we love, what we value with Venus here, but also with Mercury, how we communicate, how we think. So everything that we've learned here, I think we're going to be able to talk about it more. And don't be, again, surprised this week if we're getting bombarded with information or people are trying to talk about stuff and they're trying to deal with things. I think that's really cool. Now, no, not getting too deep. Sagittarius doesn't want to be bogged down. They still want to have a good time. They want to feel free, you know? So I do feel like the conversations, especially if we're having like a love conversation this week, and I'll get more into that deeply in just a second, but I would just be... maybe in Sagittarius season with Venus, maybe this isn't the greatest time. Maybe this is more about like what we've learned from the eclipse season, what we've learned from these things that we've been going through, you know, instead of like really sitting down and trying to work something out. Because also, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, Sagittarius has the tendency to kind of be like my way or the highway. So just watch out for that this week too, okay? If anybody's coming at you and they're saying this is the way that it fucking is and you don't have a choice in it and this is what I've decided, like, you need to really decide whether or not you want to work with that person or even if working with them is even feasible. And especially when Sagittarius moves into Mercury, people's minds are going to be, again, my way or the highway, or like, this is the only way of thinking. Be careful of that shit, okay? So make sure we reel it back. We really are taking other people's account for things, other people's experiences, and we're letting others have a say too. Honestly, like the rest of this week is really kind of beautiful and kind of like until we get to the weekend, because there's more stuff going on. Jupiter's in the mix and it's kind of like really fucking beautiful. But listen, by the 19th, I believe, Mars is squaring Neptune. Now this can be in a couple different things. Mars squaring Neptune, like whenever two planets are squaring off, they got their fighting fists up. Be fucking duking it out in the streets, straight the fuck up. So just know by Saturday, don't be surprised if we have some fights here. With Mars here, this is like our aggression. This is the way that we take action in the world. It's also retrograde right now in the sign of Gemini. Neptune is like dreamy, ethereal. This is like no boundaries between us. It's very spiritual and loving and beautiful and dreamy, but also at the same time, it's very hard to grasp. There's not much reality there sometimes. We can get caught into like escapism or like an unreality. Something's not real here. So when these two guys are fighting it out, this could really talk about like gaslighting. I would, guys, all week long, I would double check what the fuck people are saying to you. Both the information that you're taking in and the information you're putting out, make sure it's fucking right and that it's true. And it's not just like my way or the highway shit going on, okay? But I also want to say too, it could also show up as not only those things, but also could be like a busting through of the illusions with Mars here. And with Gemini in the mix and it being retrograde, it's like, we're going through, like right now, it kind of feels like a mini retrograde, you know? I can't be the only one that feels that way, but it like feels like a mini retrograde. And so just be careful, like maybe also do this and talk about like another conversation coming around, or maybe we're talking to somebody this week, like a second conversation around something that maybe was very nebulous or we didn't fully understand it. Also be careful of nebulous situations this week. If somebody isn't able to give you the details, if somebody can't sit down and like talk about like and pinpoint things that are important, if it's just like a one big feeling thing or one big nebulous blob sitting in front of you, put it on the fucking shelf. Put it on the fucking shelf for after this week, okay? So some things to look out again for this week. Make sure that what we're saying, it's not just our way or the highway. We're open to what other people have to say. We're able to compromise and like work with others. Not only is the way that how we love and we value and the way that we think and we speak are changing this week, but there is also that Neptune influence. So just make sure, is this really the reality of the situation? Am I getting the full truth here? Or maybe I need to just punch through the illusion and really find the fucking truth of this situation. So don't be afraid to have those conversations, but it feels like somebody's gaslighting you, or they're not telling the fucking truth, or it seems like they're on planet Z-Bop and you're on planet Foot Fart. I don't fucking know. I'm not here to fucking judge. Let's reconvene at a different time. Okay? Just know, guys, this week, however the energy shows up, you fucking got this. Again, being forewarned is forearmed. So how do we take this information, apply it to our lives? Because the planets aren't making us do anything. They're just telling us, ooh, there's going to be some kind of situation possibly showing up here. Take that energy and make it work for you. So how can you do that this week? Just make sure you're fully like cognizant and aware. You're not being like my way or the highway. And you're also giving people a chance to talk and to interact, but also like making sure that you've got a little bit of protection up, that you make sure the information coming in is right and true. And it's not just somebody trying to shove their wisdom or their idea or their thoughts down your fucking throat. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right, if you guys are done with astrofuckery, follow me into the next. I'm going to pull those 3 piles of cards. Again, choose any and all that you're drawn towards, and I'll see you guys in a sec. All right, you guys, we got card pile number 1. Here is your interesting cards. Let's talk about it. First one is the 7 of Swords. Second card is a major arcana card, talking about major change, major evolution, major movement forward. You got the Death card. And then finally, you got the 9 of Wands. Interesting. All right, so to me, this can mean a couple different things, okay? The first one that it would say to me, because guys, traditionally the 7 of Swords, like this is a hard fucking card. This usually talks about like deceit, affairs, risks, somebody like stealing shit from you, just somebody being a no good, nasty fucking hoe. Do you know what I'm saying? Somebody done you dirty here with the fucking 7 of Swords, and they thought they were being slick about it, but with the Death card here, we found out about it. And so we put an end to that situation. Death is not only about like grieving the loss of something here, but it's also about transformation. It's about rebirth. But first, we gotta fucking grieve. And so when death shows up, we fucking grieved. Whatever that secret was that came up, or this ugly lie that came to the forefront, or maybe a risk here that we thought like was calculated but didn't fucking work out. We grieved that fucking thing. Now with death here, and it's interesting with the cards, the way that it's set up, it's moving away from the 7 of Swords into the 9 of Wands. So there was a death here with the 7 of Swords, that whatever was a lie, whatever was bullshit, whatever the fuck wasn't for you. And death now moving into the 9 of Wands. Saying now that like we know exactly where to place our energy. We know exactly what to put it into. The people, places, and things that like are actually reciprocal here, that can tell the truth, that want to show up for us, like want to fight for something just as important as we want to fight for it. Because guys, this is the card of in it to win it. The 9 of Wands for me. Now it says you got another obstacle coming up, but like you're tired, you're weary, you're battle worn, but you're ready to fucking go. You know exactly what you want now, and you're not going to give up until you get the fucking thing, right? Now, another interpretation of this could be like there was actually been a real fucking death in your life with the Death card here. And so at this point, this death really made you realize that maybe you've been telling yourself lies. Maybe you've been telling yourself, maybe you've been deceitful with yourself. Or maybe this person that passed away, maybe some kind of secret came up about them and it made you look at them completely fucking differently. Whatever happened here really has you like no longer telling yourself lies, looking at the truth of the situation absolutely fucking clearly. And once we're able to kind of like maneuver through that, through the death process, actually fucking grieve here, we're able to move into the 9 of Wands again. And I really feel like this death either, it's helping us not to lie to ourselves anymore, and it's also helping us to be clearly fucking, like crystal fucking clear around where our energy and our time actually belongs now. We're done fucking around. And so this death has really triggered something important for us. Made us sit down and face ourselves in the ways that we're lying to ourselves. Whatever secret came up here, maybe about that person, was like, holy shit. You know, and so in what ways am I lying to myself, or what ways am I lying about stuff? And like, how can I do better? Once we were able to grieve that, now I know I'm worth the investment. So maybe there's something here with this too. If we've had a loss in our actual, like literal loss in our life, maybe this really is asking us to step the fuck up this week and make sure that you're investing in yourself, that you're telling yourself the truth. No regrets, right? Another interpretation of this, and I think my final interpretation with the 7 of Swords, death, and the 9 of Wands. Sometimes the 7 of Swords can be good. It can remind you to like be quiet, hush, hush, or cunning, maybe around something that we're about to put out in the world. Maybe this is a project or a career or a business. This can even be about like a love relationship or any kind of relationship. We've just been really hush, hush about it, like behind the scenes, like working on this thing, taking care of it, really investing in it. With the death process here and the 9 of Wands, it's saying that time period is now over, and actually this is the perfect time for you to put that thing out there and show people what the fuck you've been doing. And with the 9 of Wands, like showing everyone like we've been working on this for a hot fucking minute. Like this has been something we put our blood, sweat, and fucking tears into, and here's the beautiful outcome of it. And yeah, some people might not like it, or some people may not resonate with it, but man, this is exactly where I need to be. Do what the fuck I gotta do. This is exactly where the fuck I belong, doing this thing or being a part of this relationship or whatever it is that we're going to be coming out and talking about this week. This would be your time to like get that thing out there. You don't have to be in secret anymore. It's time for you to come out from that space and really let people know what you've been working on and how hard you've been working on it. I wouldn't be surprised too with the Nine of Wands. People are like, fucking look at all this fucking work, and really truly like praising you here. Now, the only thing I would worry about with the Nine of Wands, and this is for anybody getting card pile number 1, traditionally the next card after the Nine of Wands is the Ten of Wands, which is like burden, betrayal, overworked, nope, we don't need that. So I just want to say to you guys, quit burning the candle at 8,600 ends, okay? This week, make sure that we're only choosing the things that actually resonate for us, or there's reciprocity, or this is a place I know I need to be, okay? No more squandering your heart. No more squandering your time, your effort, your mental space. No more of this shit. We are now letting go of the things that aren't for us, that we know were false, that were lies, that was bullshit. And we're moving into things that actually are for us this week. But please, I'm begging you, and especially with death cards showing up, please grieve the loss of this thing. Because whatever it was important to us. When death shows up, this is not an easy card. This is not a fucking easy card at all. And so if you ever lost someone, you understand what that grief is. And that grief is proof of how much you fucking cared. So even if something didn't work out in the way that you wanted it to, and you're like, well, why the fuck am I grieving over this? It was a lie, or it was bullshit. It's because you fucking cared. Because you gave a fuck. Because it meant something to you. And you need to grieve that. Okay? So I'm just saying this week, look, this is an intense card pull, but like this is a really beautiful one. And I want to say whoever got card pile number 1, I'm actually really fucking proud of you. Because there is a lot of work in this card. There's a lot of fucking work. Uncovering the truth, understanding actually what the fuck happened here. Being able to let that whole situation, persons, whatever the fuck, fucking die and go. So that you can dedicate yourself to the things that actually make sense. What are you in it to win it for now? You fucking got this. All right, and if you got card pile number 2, we got another interesting card pull, you all, so let's get into it. The first one is the Six of Swords. Your second card is the King of Swords. And your final card is the King of Coins. Interesting, so let's fucking talk about it. All right, so I want to tell you guys, like, okay, whoa, I just threw the card on the floor. I got so excited. So listen here, okay? Woo! Hold on to your nips. Here we go. Listen with the Six of Swords here. I almost always, I don't know why I always forget this about this card. But this week it really kind of makes sense, or like this extra meaning to this card I feel like is really popping out here with the Six of Swords. A lot of times this card can talk about optimism and forgiveness. I traditionally see this card as the, like, we're able to find success and victory once we're able to let something go mentally here. Really, that's been holding us back. This is also talking about, like, taking journeys, taking trips, having experiences. There's a very Sagittarius feeling to this card, okay? With the Six of Swords, though, I mean, look at this guy. He's, like, ready to fucking go. I'm in a hot air balloon. Let's go, ho. Let's do the thing today. So I think that's very interesting with this forgiveness and optimism around these two male characters that are showing up here. Now, traditionally, whenever I see the King of Swords, this guy can kind of be an asshole, I'm not gonna lie to you. He's very blunt, not very good with emotions. This guy gives great advice, though. Sometimes he can even show up as like a mentor, but usually this is a male your age or older showing up in the scene with the air element here. We're looking at Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. Yeah, he just be kind of blunt, but traditionally he gives great advice. He gives good counsel. He can even be a mentor here to somebody. I also see this guy, especially with swords here, sometimes showing up as like a judge or like a judge figure. So maybe this week you have every reason to have faith and optimism. Maybe this week you have every reason to have optimism, and maybe there's a certain level of forgiveness. Maybe we're going to court this week with the King of Coins and we're worried about it. But this card is telling you have every reason to have optimism about this situation. And maybe there's some level of like forgiveness that we can bring to this space. Or maybe even too, like, how can we compromise in a way that doesn't give up anything that's important to us, but can maybe help this relationship with the King of Coins some way, somehow. Now, the King of Coins is another important male showing up here with a king. Here's going to be your age or older again. Again, this could be like maybe your actual father, somebody that's like the father to your children, maybe even two with the King of Coins here. This is just an important male figure with this earth element here. He'd be a Virgo, Capricorn, what's the other sign? Taurus. Yikes. He could be any one of those signs. And so maybe we're going to court this week and maybe we're really fucking worried about it. But I feel like with these three cards, like you have every reason to have optimism. Maybe there's even a chance to mediate here. If we have to go to court, maybe this is around like, you know, the father of your kids and we're trying to get child support, or maybe we're trying to keep somebody away or whatever the fuck's going on here. Like we go to court, maybe we're able to mediate, or this judge is able to kind of like talk to us and help us like figure our fucking shit out, like Judge Judy. Do you know what I'm saying? Except, to be honest with you, the King of Swords is, I have found to be nicer than the Queen of Swords, okay? She really don't give a fuck about your feelings. This guy really just like, what's the logical, practical, rational thing to do? And I think with the King of Coins here too, showing up, I'm sorry, the King of Swords is that. Now, the King of Coins showing up, like this guy, he knows how to invest in the future. If you wanted to be a trophy wife or a trophy husband, this guy's got your fucking back. He wants to take care of you forever, but he can also be miserly. So he's pinching fucking pennies. You know, he can also be an asshole too and like not take care of like your literal basic needs. So if we're having to go to court with somebody this week, maybe we're just showing like, maybe there's some level of optimism around the whole situation. It's telling you to chill out. This might actually go a lot better than you think that it is. Maybe we have a great, you know, male judge here that's like really able to listen to what both sides are saying and help us, give us good counsel and help us find a good middle ground. And maybe there's some kind of level of forgiveness here. Maybe we're able to let go of something so that we can move forward in this situation so that it's no longer holding us the fuck back. Or maybe like this court situation, like literally is giving us the like open doorway to go be fucking free. We just got to get through this. Now, another interpretation of this could really kind of even talk about, what I think is interesting, there might be some kind of trip or travel. Maybe we're going to see two separate males going forward. Maybe one's an actual father figure. Maybe one's a brother or something. Or maybe we're going to see like two separate love interests, but there's some kind of like optimism. There's some kind of joy about this going forward, like these journeys. Maybe they're two totally separate trips, but we're going to be making trips soon and they're going to have a lot of joy. Maybe there might even be forgiveness in there some way, somehow, with these two men, even separately, or maybe this is a family unit. Okay. So, whatever's going on here this week, whoever got card pile number 2, I think that you've got a lot of experiences and journeys to look forward to. I think that the more that you're truthful and honest with yourself about the things that have been holding you back, that's going to help you immensely this week. If we've got any kind of a legal situation, I actually feel like this is going to go in your favor. Don't be afraid to forgive, or don't be afraid to work on the forgiveness and have hope and optimism about what the fuck is going on here. You just got to cut cords of attachment, maybe to this fear that like this thing isn't going to work out. Quit that shit. Quit that shit. Let the universe know that you're ready for this thing to work out. You're ready to be free. If it's a legal situation in any way, shape, or form. Okay? And I really actually feel like things are going to go your favor. And with the King of Coins showing up there, I do feel like as though money will be coming your way, or money will be coming from this male individual. And guys, for anything else, I really feel like this week is about taking trips, going to see our people. This is like really getting out there and seeing these two important male figures. And maybe there's something about like forgiveness for each other, or working on things and trying to make a relationship work here. And again, maybe it's like two separate love interests. Maybe I'm going to go see my dad, and then maybe I'm going to go see like one of my best friends later on. Something else is going here within these trips, and it's helping us to like, just heal. I don't even know how else to put that. There's a beautiful element of healing to this card pull this week. Last thing I guess I kind of want to say with it is like, this is the energy that you got to take on. Go take a journey. Go take an experience. Go have an experience in the world. Cut yourself free from, the things that give you, or that have been like a comfort space for you. Get away from home for a little bit. And don't be surprised, or maybe a reminder here, take good counsel with you. Do good, smart things. And make sure you have enough money on the trip so that you can have the most fun that you want to fucking have. All right? All right. Maybe you get in a literal fucking hot air balloon this week and you meet two dudes that just like change your fucking life. Who the fuck knows? Okay. Whatever way this works out for you this week, I actually feel like card pile number 2 is pretty interesting and awesome. Hold on to your titties because I think good things are developing here. Hold on to that optimism. Do not be afraid to forgive. And just know whatever trip you take next is going to give you an experience you'll never fucking forget. And finally, if you guys got card pile number 3, here's your beautiful cards. Also, another interesting card pull. Your first one is the Ten of Swords. Ouchie, ouchie, ouch. And your next 2 cards are major arcana cards. Talk about major change, major arcana cards. Talk about major change, major evolution, major movement forward. The first one is the High Priestess. And the second card is the Hanged Man. Let's fucking talk about it. So I do want to say to you, this is an interesting card pull. To me, this says, just first and foremost, even looking at these cards, some kind of situation occurred here at the Ten of Swords that left us feeling absolutely betrayed. Somebody stabbed us, maybe multiple people stabbed us, where it just feels like people aren't out to support us right now. With the High Priestess, we knew this was fucking coming, and we still did the dumb bubblegum thing. And now we're feeling like we're stuck. Another interpretation of this could be with the Ten of Swords here, like this is overburdened. We are at the end of the game. There is no pass and go. Look at this guy. He is literally stuck in this fucking trunk with all these swords stabbed into it. This dude is dead. Okay, so like your energy, and especially with swords here, your mental space, like we are not in a good space. We are literally at rock bottom. We need to go get some help and support here because like this is like the deepest depths of depression. Like this is rock motherfucking bottom. Okay, but like we've been betrayed in so many different ways at this point. Maybe we don't even know how to move forward. And with the High Priestess showing up here, maybe some kind of secret came forward. And it just absolutely left us motherfucking dead on the floor. And again, with the High Priestess here, like we either knew it was coming or there was something that was off and we couldn't quite put our finger on it. We felt the tingling in our booty and we did not fucking listen to it. But what I think is interesting with the Hanged Man showing up here, maybe we're thinking that we're stuck here now with this situation or like this is just the way that it is. But the Hanged Man reminds you like this is about going with the flow. And so whatever the fuck happened here, maybe this is also a reminder to motherfucking trust yourself. Can you please stop? Can you please stop? Could you please stop? I'm begging you to fucking listen to yourself. Because every time you don't listen to yourself, it comes back to bite you in the asshole. Is there any bit of your asshole left? Okay? Like, I'm not even trying to make light of this. I'm just saying to you, because this is such a rough card pull here. Like, you've got to stop doing this to yourself. You are literally stagnating yourself when you don't listen to yourself. And it gets to this point where things get so ugly and so bad, it's almost difficult to see a way out. Now, what's interesting, with the Ten of Swords, this is the ending of a cycle. And if you notice in the background, the sun is actually rising. So I do want to say here, and for some reason, I'm going back to October with the Ten of Swords here. Something happened in October, or close to October, that took us down to bare fucking bones. We are at rock fucking bottom. Although I do want to say with the Ten of Swords, like our mental space got us here. And that we let our fears and worries guide us to this place, guys. This is a fucking ugly card. This is bad. This is bad. And so even if other people have done this to us, like we had some part to do in this. We were not listening to ourselves with the fucking High Priestess and with the Hanged Man here. It's just kind of, the Hanged Man can even talk about like the death of a situation, like memento mori. So it's just reminding you, like, let this thing fucking go. Whatever has died here that you got stabbed about, or it brought you down to like bare fucking bones, or like this thing that you didn't listen to yourself that fucking happened here. A new day is dawning. What the fuck are you going to do with it? I'm begging you to not repeat the same situation. This is around a love relationship. I swear to you right now, if you let this person back into your space, you are saying it is absolutely okay to disrespect you and to treat you the way that they fucking treated you. I hope you don't do that. I really hope that you don't, because you deserve so much more, so much fucking more than what the fuck went down here. Not only from the other person, but from yourself too. Something's got to change. With the Hanged Man too, man, like this can even talk about, like, I like to say with this card, are you a salmon? Do you identify as a salmon? Then please stop going against the flow. It's time to go with the flow. And so if everything in the situation, whether this is around career and business, whether this is around like working with somebody in career and business or partnerships in some way, shape, or form, whatever the fuck is going on here, you have been fighting against a current. What are you doing? When everything in the world, including this other person, is telling you no, what are you doing? It's time to go with the flow. You got to get the fuck up out of there. It's time to boot scoot, babe. Like, this isn't working. You're trying to push something that isn't happening. Like, stop. You're not actually listening to yourself. I'm going to be honest with you. With the High Priestess here, there might even be some part of this where it's like you weren't really feeling it either, but maybe you didn't know what else the fuck to do. So even if this did come from a space of like, maybe you were trying to salvage a relationship, or maybe you were trying to salvage a project, maybe you're trying to salvage your grades from getting all F's or some shit, do you know what I mean? Because you drank all fucking semester. Wouldn't know anything about that. I can tell you guys a story about that later on. The point is, we got to turn around. Nope. Reverse. Do the little Austin Powers, like 800 turn your shit around, because this ain't working. We need to find where the flow is again. And I think that goes back to trusting yourself. And I think that also is saying like no to situations that have taken you down to bone, that have hurt you, that have left you at rock bottom and didn't come back around to see if you're okay or check on you and make sure everything was all right. Like, you deserve so much more, not only from the other people around you, but from yourself as well. And guys, I am on it with this one tonight. I just feel very strongly about that. So I just want to say to you guys, remember that the Hanged Man too is telling you that you're actually not stuck. You're not stuck. Maybe too, if you notice the guy in there, he could very easily at any point flip his foot out of that little hook there and get the fuck down. You are the one keeping yourself there. So what are you doing? Maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's time to find your new sunrise and what it is that's best for you, knowing full well now that we're not going to repeat the same mental bullshit we did to ourselves. We are absolutely going to trust ourselves now. And when a feeling comes up, we fucking follow it through and we listen to our heart and our intuition when it's fucking speaking to us. And then on top of that, like, we're able to go with the flow now. We know what the flow means and we're able to follow that. Whoever got card pile number 3, treat yourself with more love and respect. And the more that and maybe it's time to put up boundaries with certain people. And so if somebody's coming back around after a heinous situation, you got to let this person go, my friend. If this is around like you not trusting yourself, we're not doing that anymore. We're fucking trusting ourselves from now on. Or if you think that you're stuck because like things have been difficult and you just can't see your way out of it, you're actually not stuck. This is a moment for you to sit down and find where the actual flow is. Where is that? Where is it? Just know with all of this, and especially with the Ten of Swords showing up, this is the end of that cycle. So you get to make the decision going forward. And my friend, what do you want now? The High Priestess showing up here. Maybe now you want to trust in yourself more completely. Maybe you're done like believing the secrets people are telling about you, or you know, maybe there is some kind of gossip situation here and you're done with that shit and you're ready to like really fucking trust yourself and take care of you and let yourself maybe even off the hook for something here that you've been holding on to. I think that's an interesting, I think that's for somebody too. Okay. So maybe it's time to notice where you've let fear and worry lead you down a path you didn't want to go. And it's maybe time to let yourself off the hook from that thing and just choose to do better next time, knowing full well that you absolutely can trust yourself, that your intuition's on point, and we're not going to be doing this anymore. You deserve so much more. All right, you guys, I hope to God that fucking made sense. Thank you guys for the joy. Thank you for the fucking honor, and absolutely thank you for trusting me today to pull your cards. I hope that you guys enjoyed the free weekly reading. If you guys need me, you know where the fuck to find me. Middle fingers for no, call for yes. Let a sister know if this resonated for you. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.